Marcus, I think there's a very clear point in life where we can check if we have a good perspective, a positive perspective about ourselves or not. If we
Mhm.
know our qualities, if I'll ask you what's your qualities and you know the answer,
Yes.
or you're hesitating, okay?
Yeah.
So, and I think most of the people doesn't understand enough what their qualities, not sure enough about themselves.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
this
I
is
can.
this is something we can practice. It's not so hard to practice this,
Okay.
to help someone to find his qualities. Okay?
Okay.
And if you will, if you want, if you agree, how do you say that? I'll ask you a little question and we'll
Yes.
we'll do it with you, Marcus. Okay?
Okay. Let's go. Ask your question.
Okay. So I want you to find three people you appreciate, you really appreciate.
hmm
It can be even biblical characters, it can be book characters, it can be your uncle or anyone, it doesn't matter. Just
hmm
find three people that you really appreciate.
Well,
Give me only
obviously,
their names, okay?
okay.
Only that.
Obviously, one person I really appreciate is my wife. She's my partner in life. So my wife is one person I really appreciate. Okay.
Okay.
I have a friend. I don't see him that often because he lives in Seattle, but we talk once in a while. I really appreciate him. We've been friends since we were 10 years old.
Okay.
And another person I really appreciate is a friend here in my hometown. Um, he's like sort of like also like a father figure, you know. I really appreciate him. He's very helpful, with stuff like the car, no, he's very knowledgeable
Great.
on
Okay. So I want to take each one of
yeah.
them and to speak a little bit. What do you appreciate in him? What traits, what characters,
What characterizes him? What's his
what is
personality?
the personal virtue
Virtue. Yes, virtue. I would
that,
say
that you appreciate? And
that I appreciate.
we'll go slowly for each one
Yeah,
of them. Okay. So
I would
let's take
say
your
okay.
friend first.
We'll start with my with my wife. The
Okay. Start
virtue,
with your wife.
right, is she has a
What
big heart.
exactly a virtues that you appreciate in her? Not all her virtue.
Just one in particular.
No, just those you specially appreciate. Okay?
Yes, she's positive.
She's positive. Okay.
Even when things are going badly, like financially, she finds a way to improve our financial situation. So she never gives up. That's
Okay, she's
basically,
positive and she's never giving up. Okay,
yeah.
great. This is the most important things for you that you
Yes.
appreciate the virtue that you appreciate in a wife. Okay. Another thing, if you want to say, it's okay.
I would say obviously she's a very good mother. My kids, they always go to her
I'm not,
first.
1 minute, I'm not speaking about what she's doing,
Oh,
but what
you,
her virtue, like it's like a part of her character. I mean, it's
oh,
like,
I see.
like,
Okay.
I
I
just
see
say
what you
that.
mean.
One
Okay.
minute, I
Okay.
want to
Yes,
say
so
exactly.
yes, she's
In,
very positive,
okay.
despite things going wrong. And also she is extremely friendly, extremely friendly. She can make friends with anyone and everyone. I mean, part of her job is to coach entrepreneurs in their business. And it's like when I overhear her speaking, it's as if she's talking to a friend. That's how friendly she is. So that's definitely the second thing. She's extremely friendly person.
Great. So she's friendly. She's very good about it,
Mhm.
and she's speaking with her clients like you listen from the side and you think it's like a friend. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So we learned about your wife that she's friendly, she's optimistic, and
Mhm.
she never gives up. She never
Never give
gives
up.
never
Yeah.
gives up. Okay.
Yeah. Phrasal verb.
Okay. Let's speak about your friend.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about my friend who lives here.
Okay.
Uh, well, he is quite a bit older than I am. And I would say the one virtue in him is he's a very patient person, Like I said, he's like a father figure and he has patience in teaching me things that I've never learned before. There was no one to teach me before. Not my father, not my uncles, working on a car engine. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's not an easy job, but he's very patient with me and he explains things. And every time we do this, I learn a little bit more about how to maintain a car. So definitely patience. Because a lot of
Okay.
people get frustrated,
Okay. This is
when
very
you
clear.
don't know.
He's patient. He's
Patience,
patient with
yes.
you, patient with people. He
He's
explains
patient
things
in
with you.
general with everyone.
With
I'm just
everyone.
giving you an example of
A good teacher.
my experience with him. He's always patient.
Great. Okay. Anything else about him that you really appreciate?
I would say he's always educating me on the Bible. Whenever he comes to visit, we'll chat about this and that, and then he will leave some wisdom from the Bible, or he will tell me, he'll text me, and he'll say, read this verse today, or read this chapter today. That is also something that I really love about my friend.
Okay,
He
that's something
reminds me
you really
that
love
any,
about your friend, that he always connected your conversation with verses in the Bible and
yes,
make you think about it. But
yes.
what kind of virtue is that? What kind of character trait you appreciate
I,
it? It's yeah, you told me what he's doing with you.
mhm.
Looking for the inner character. What does it like? Like you said, he is patient. So what
Yes.
he is when he's teaching you this way, what kind of trait is that?
I would say he's a man who has faith and he believes in God.
Okay, faith. So you
That's
really appreciate
patience.
your friend's faith.
Yes, yes,
He's a man of
because
faith.
it helps me improve my faith.
Okay, great.
Because
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
so
so
those are the two
faith
virtues.
and patience.
Yes,
This is what you admire about your friend.
yes, correct.
Okay. So what about your friend abroad?
My friend abroad, okay. Well, of course, distance and time separates us. The last time we actually saw each other face to face was about 8, 9 years ago. What I like about him is he didn't forget our friendship when we were children, when I lived in the States. He was the only kid in the class that had the courage to walk up to me and say, come sit next to me. And he befriended me. So I would say for him, it's his courage that I really admire about him. Definitely.
Okay,
He's
that's
not
a
had a
great
very
story.
easy life,
You
you
were
know?
kids in school in the United States, and and
Mhm.
you were new in the class, and he invited you to sit next to him,
Yeah.
and
And
he
he
was
showed me the
courage enough
ropes.
to start new relationship with someone who is first time, and no one else invited him. Okay,
Yes. He had the courage and he was brave, and he still is very brave.
he's very brave. Okay, so what we've done just now, we were looking for the values that you appreciate in other people.
Yes.
Okay, so we can turn these character traits to values. It's the same thing, basically. Okay, so you appreciate friendship, being friendly, being patient, being faith, being brave,
Mhm.
yes, being optimistic and
Yes.
never giving up.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Precisely.
your positive perspective.
Of my wife and my friends.
Yes,
Okay. I
that
follow.
means you are brave, believing, you have faith, you're
Hmm.
friendly, you are patient,
Hmm.
you never give up, you're
Yes.
brave. Okay, this is all
Okay.
about you.
Really? So
Yeah,
what I see in other human beings, other people, is actually a quality that I have. Is
because
that what
this
you're
is
saying?
your values. Yes, because
Okay.
you cannot see the world without your values. What you appreciate, it's your values, and because it's your character traits.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
the point we wanted to speak today. And
Okay.
the first time you hear this, you say, "Whoa, this is me. It's too good to be true."
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Hmm.
Okay. So, but it's according to what we spoke last time. We're now going a little deeper. So, your
Hmm.
perspective about other people
Yeah.
reflect your values, reflect your own character traits, because you can't measure things you don't understand at all. So
Of
if
course. Yes.
if you're not if you don't have how do you say that? Someone who is very sensitive in music and has a good ear.
Oh, pitch perfect.
Is
Someone who has a perfect pitch.
musician, how do you say that? He has this capability, this כישרון למוזיקה, how do you say that?
What he has an ear for it, a good ear, or I don't know what the
Uh,
phrase is
someone has
actually.
musical talent.
Musical talent. Okay.
Okay, if you don't have
Cool.
musical talent,
Talent.
you cannot appreciate other people that they have. If you don't have
Yes.
some of it, okay?
Mhm.
So this is your glasses. You look on the world according to your glasses, through your
Mhm.
glasses, and your glasses are your values, and your
Yes.
values are your traits. So this is the first point to understand that. And
Okay.
it's not easy to accept it. As we said before, to accept the positive perspective about life, it's not easy thing because
Yes.
how do you say, מתנגדים, we oppose,
Uh-huh.
okay? We resist it because
Mm.
it sounds too good to be true,
Yes. Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
But this is the first step to start to internalize this positive perspective about life. The first thing to accept that you are good, you're better than you think, okay? And to
Uh-huh.
see really in life that these good virtue are also yours, okay? So why do we resist it so much? Because maybe you say, why don't you believe about it? Why don't you believe in the first time you say, oh, this is me? No.
Huh.
Okay.
That's interesting. Why do we not see the good in ourselves? I don't know.
No,
Is it
not
perhaps
generally. Why don't
not
you?
generally?
I want you
Okay.
to let's take one of these values from all of these: brave, being
Positive,
optimistic,
friendly,
never
patient,
giving up, patient,
yep,
and
courage,
being
bravery.
friendly and courage. What from all of them? What do you appreciate less in yourself? Which one of them you resist the
Patience,
most? You resist the most. Okay,
patience.
patient.
Yeah, I'm not a very patient person. If things are not going right my way, I lose it, and I storm off, I walk away, and I'm like, why am I not patient? What is it that makes me feel like I want things to be done in a hurry? I want things to be done my way. Why don't, and it's not in all instances in my daily life. It's just certain things, certain moments
Okay,
I don't have the
so
patience,
you
you know?
don't you resist to say on yourself,
Mhm.
I am patient because you see places in your life that you're not patient enough.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that means you resist this because accept you expect yourself to be more patient.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
one of the reasons we don't want to say we have some virtue because we want it more.
Yes. Okay.
So we resist it because we feel it's like lying about
Like
this
lying to
value because
ourselves.
it's not. Someone is appreciate people who say the truth. He say what I'm doing it's not true enough.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'll tell you the principle. The principle is the most you have this some value or character trait in yourself, the
Hmm.
most you resist it because you
Really?
appreciate more than others. I'll tell
Ah,
you a story about this. Okay,
okay.
I'll tell a story to start to understand that. I remember one time I did this work which I'm doing with you now in front of a class, a big class, and every time I take someone and do it in front of everybody,
Hmm.
and the man who came to in front of the class said he's appreciating people who are good in logistic things,
Logistics. Okay.
okay, and he's not good enough about it,
Hmm.
okay,
Okay.
and we started to dig a little deeper what he's doing in life. So he was in charge Israeli military about um, a very big project of
Mm-hmm.
submarines.
Okay.
So it's one of the most biggest logistic project ever been in
Undertaken.
Israel, in the Israeli army.
Okay.
And he was in charge of it.
Okay. I
And
see.
he said, I'm not good enough in it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird.
Maybe he was just overwhelmed at the sheer
No,
scope.
because he will say, if you want to understand who is very good in logistic, so I can tell you who is. He was my
Mm-hmm.
lecturer in the university or something like this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a different occasion. Someone said that she appreciate people who give from themselves. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm not giving enough. I'm not doing anything. And we start to find around her life what she's doing. And we discovered that it happened a few times. She and all their daughters in her family raised their hair, a long
Mm-hmm.
hair, and then gave it to make how do you say that?
What wigs?
Wig to make wig
Yeah,
for cancer
cancer patients. Okay.
cancer patient. Okay,
Yes.
but she couldn't say no. Not everyone is doing this. Yes, but sometimes the thing you most appreciate, you are more criticizing yourself not being enough about it
Not doing enough. Okay.
because you're so sensitive about this subject because it's so important to you. So I appreciate that your wife saying about herself, I'm not friendly enough
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
she's so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That
Okay.
happens every time.
Mm.
And it's maybe it's true that you can be more patient than you are, but you already very patient according to other people,
Okay.
comparing to other people. In
Mm-hmm.
your standard, which is high, you're not enough, you're not high enough. And it's okay that you want
Okay.
more, but you
Mm-hmm.
should appreciate the patience you do have.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I
So
understand.
people
Yes.
resist this idea because they want more from the values. And if you say you are already something, you do have it already, they say no, it's not enough. I'm not good enough about it. And they resist because they appreciate it, because they're
Oh,
super sensitive in this subject, because they
super.
have super senses in this understanding this value, because it's very close to them.
Okay. That's a good point. You
Okay, so
resisted
I can
super
say as your student,
so much. Okay.
you're a very patient teacher.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I want you to tell me now few things that you are very patient about them.
Um, I'm pretty patient when it comes to helping my daughter learn Afrikaans because we don't speak Afrikaans in the house. I did not grow up speaking Afrikaans. So even I struggled through school, through high school. I barely made it through. And then once high school was done, I never spoke the language again. I never read books. I don't even watch television shows in the language. But now my little 11-year-old is at school and she has to learn Afrikaans and she has to give presentations just to talk about her pit in Afrikaans. So we would sit with the computer and have the Google Translate and type in English, and then it would give you the Afrikaans, and then you click the little speaker, and then you would hear the computer say the words, speak the sentence, and then she would practice. Now, because I know how difficult the language is to speak. There's a lot of it's like very Germanic. It's very hard and aggressive pronunciation. So I said, okay, just try it again. Try it again. And then always, because the child's mind cannot absorb too much at a time. So I say to her, okay, work for 5 minutes, then take a break. So I would say I'm patient with her as she's learning Afrikaans.
Okay, and you are very patient father. Not all the fathers sit with their 11 years daughter and learn with her Afrikaans or any language.
Okay.
It's very special.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tell me a little bit more. Another story where you were very patient in life, somewhere.
Oh, okay. Something else. I'm very patient in life with. Uh, Let me think. People. Okay, another story. My children. Okay. As you know, I have a swimming pool in the backyard, and it
Yes.
took me a long time to get it nice and clean. And then, of course, my children did not know how to swim a few months ago. And of course, I was very paranoid that they would be outside while I was working, because what if they fell in the pool? So when the pool was clean, I got them the flotation devices and I said, okay, this is how you swim. This is this stroke and so forth. Don't worry, you're not going to sink. But they were so nervous and scared, thinking they would drown all the time. So I would go into the pool and like hold the child under the tummy and say, okay, now move your arms and move your legs. And I would walk until they felt comfortable with my daughter and my son. And it worked. Now they can swim. They've taught themselves to swim.
I
But I
got you.
had to
So
be
you were
patient.
very patient teacher
Yes,
for your children to learn swimming.
to
Okay.
learn how to swim.
Learn how to
Yes.
swim. Great. I want another story, a bigger story. Some place you were very patient. No
Mhm.
one, not everyone can do that, to be so patient. I want you to find another place in your life or in your history.
In my life. Okay.
You used your patience very
Okay.
great.
I will let you, I'll tell you this. Okay.
Okay.
How can I put this nice and short? My patience, right? I now that I realize and now that I've been talking about it, now that I'm thinking about it more and more, is this. When I was a child, I struggled with reading and writing because a psychologist, what do you call it, assessed me and said, no, your son is that he has dyslexia. Okay.
This what?
Where dyslexia, where you see the words on the page, but in your mind they get jumbled up somehow. I don't know which type of dyslexia it is, but I struggled a lot through high school, and as I had to be patient with myself when it came to reading and writing, and eventually I got better at it. I don't know if I cured myself of dyslexia. I'm not sure, but in the end, I went to university and I had to read a lot and write a lot of essays and papers. So I would say that would be I was patient with myself in the learning process, overcoming this.
Okay, so we're so patient with yourself with your dyslexic beginning. So you cure yourself, you went to university and you are a teacher.
Yes,
So
yeah,
you
that's like lifelong
you've done a
patience.
long journey about your
Dyslexia. Yeah.
dyslexia, and you're not afraid of it, and it's not an obstacle in life at all now.
No, 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 not obstacle anymore.
And you had a lot of patience to
Yeah,
go
I
through all
realize
this.
that now. Yeah,
It's
yeah, you're right.
years of patience.
Mm, yeah, you're right.
Yes. So maybe it's really the most biggest personal virtue of Marcus Thomas. He's patient.
Okay, patience. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
saying that. Thank you
But
for.
because he's not appreciating himself enough about it, so
Hmm.
it's maybe so why isn't he appreciating enough his this virtue? Because he wants more from that, because his standards for being patient is very high.
Okay.
Because you
Okay.
can be patient for years for something which is important to you.
Hmm. I see your point. Okay. Okay. So where does this take us?
This
Where
takes
does
us to
what?
understand a little. I spoke the first lesson about general about being in positive perspective about life ourselves, and now we looked a little
Deeper.
inner in Marcus Thomas character
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
see how do you say that this mechanism,
Okay.
right? This mechanism about being criticizing ourselves or appreciating ourselves. So
Yeah.
we criticize ourselves all the time. We're like a little devil saying you're not good enough all the time. Although
Okay.
it's usually the opposite.
Okay.
In the place that you not appreciating yourself enough, this is the most biggest, the most how do you say that? Not big. It's like a great place in your soul. You are patient. It's something you really
Okay.
have.
I see.
So we saw this mechanism that we should appreciate ourselves more. We can see it when we
Mhm.
appreciate other people, what we really appreciate. And we don't appreciate ourselves enough because
Yeah.
we have high standard and we restrict and we they say that
Resist.
we resist
Mhm.
the positive perspective because we want to improve
Why
ourselves.
do we not believe this in ourselves though?
Because
Why would
we
we
are
not believe
regular
it?
to improve ourselves with criticism.
Oh, okay. So criticizing ourselves should work as a mechanism so that we try harder and we improve ourselves, right? On the one side.
It should be, but basically what we're doing all the time, we are
Is
criticizing ourselves, and
we're bad mouthing ourselves.
this makes us weaker, not
Huh.
stronger.
Huh.
And I suggest you to
Just
appreciate yourself more about your patient
okay.
and to accept this. Wow, I'm super patient. This is my one of my best.
Qualities.
So
Okay.
this will help you more to be more patient in other places
Uh-huh.
and to understand yourself and not be so not criticize yourself too much when you're not patient because it's not about you. You have a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you want more, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
if you
definitely.
acknowledge that you have it, it doesn't mean you're not going to do more about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Very interesting. How you've led me through this lesson. Very interesting. Okay.
It's not
Continue.
it's not
I'm
exactly
intrigued.
lesson. It's more like, personal how do you say that? Personal process, personal coaching process. I asked you coaching questions. Okay.
Okay,
So I asked
personal.
you questions and then you saw things about yourself. And the question taught you something, but it's not teaching exactly.
Okay.
It's more
It's sort of just
reflecting. Yes, something like this. This is a nice way to teach. Yes,
uh-huh.
I like it also.
Ah. Oh, it's cool. It's like the whole digging deeper
But the
and
problem that you cannot understand what mean a positive perspective of people without doing it on yourself first.
on yourself first. Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
it's not
Yeah.
cognitive place in our spirit. It's like it's a real change. If you start
Mm-hmm.
to really appreciate yourself and to understand that what you appreciate about other people it's yours, it will change you.
Mm.
And you start
Okay.
to believe in good things, your faith gonna be more strong.
Mm.
And we forgot this trait because when we reflect your virtues all the time, we forgot the faith. You got a lot of
Mm.
faith, Marcus.
Thank you. Okay. So personal coaching process,
So, what do
getting
you see from
digging
our
deeper
session?
into I don't know, the soul of human being, the spirit of human being.
Well, I don't hear you.
No,
Say it
I
again.
feel great.
Say it again. Say it
No, I
again.
feel great about this session. I really do. I feel more positive since we start. I mean, I never know what we're going to talk about, and no, I really appreciate it. You've opened my eyes and my mind in this little short session that I really should stop to think, what are my own good qualities? I don't know if life is too busy also or we
I want to remind you of our first conversation. Every
mhm.
time you criticize yourself, you're joining the Satan. He's
Okay.
criticizing. Every
Mm.
time you are looking
Because he's the
about
accuser.
values and what
Yeah.
and positive perspective, you joining Abraham to see good in
Mm.
things in people in yourself. So this is a serious thing. Our inner criticizer.
This is a serious thing because he's the accuser. He
the
wants us
accuser.
to believe that we're bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
I
he
see.
pretend to
Okay.
be a good voice in
Hmm.
ourselves because he always say you're not good enough. It sounds like someone wants you to be good, but basically he undermine your self-confidence and your good traits.
Okay.
And this is the opposite from the common sense that people understand of themselves. The common sense is
Okay.
accepting the accuser point of view.
Yeah. Very interesting.
So, what do you see from our conversation about yourself, about life?
That I should value who I am as a person, and that I'm not actually a bad person.
No.
You gotta make me think now, I gotta find the words in my head. because you've they say it's like you're opening Pandora's box now, you know, and it's just thinking about the more positive ramifications from understanding that, you know, you shouldn't criticize yourself too much because you actually are good. You know, you have decent core values. That's what I would say I've taken from this. I've learned from this
Great.
session.
In our next session, I will start to implement exercises that you can how do you say that? That you can
Exercises to help
assimilate this
assimilate.
way of thinking in your life. Okay,
Okay.
there is three ways to do that, and we're gonna speak about them, each one of them, like day-to-day habits, how to assimilate this way of thinking.
Okay.
This is our next lesson.
Oh, I
I'm not sure
definitely
if it
am.
be maybe every time one habit at a time,
Okay.
maybe more. We'll see.
We'll see. Okay. No, that's brilliant. No, I really like this. I really, really, my mind is open a lot more. Okay. So you got to see the good in yourself. And because you see the good in others, it's actually qualities that you have within you. You just don't realize it because you're so super sensitive to it. And therefore you resist it because there's also that the voice of the world or the voice of the accuser that wants you to personally believe that you're no good, that you're actually bad. And if that is the global worldview that people have, the negative, bad side, then of course what you see in the world is not pretty, but you can't change that. Okay, I get it. How do you think I did? How do you think I did today? I think you did well speaking English, you know, a few hiccups here and there. But what do you think of how well did I do as your student today?
You done great job. You already great. So when you have a lot of patience with yourself, you know, everybody knows that now. So
Mhm.
you started a journey, and we will proceed
Okay, thank
in the
you.
future. Thank you very
Excellent.
much, Marcos. It was a great time with you.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I will see you next week. That was excellent. Thank you, Matty. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcos.